What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna make blueberry pierogies. Pierogies are super easy to make and they're also super cheap. I think that's why the Ukrainian or the Slavic community would make these, because they're so easy. You can put potatoes in them, you can put sauerkraut in them, you can put blueberries in them. And today we're gonna do the blueberry kind. You'll need some flour, some sugar, egg, vegetable oil, salt, some blueberries, and some water. And of course, your mixer, because I don't want to be mixing this today with my hands, because it's not fun at all. So there's 250 milliliters of lukewarm water in here. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our egg in. Just one egg goes in. And then we're just gonna whisk. I'm gonna grab just a regular whisk. I'm just gonna whisk it together, mix it in. You gotta mix the wet ingredients first before you start putting in the dry ingredients. So that's where what goes in next is our dry ingredients. Oh, actually no. I'm not done with the wet ingredients. The oil is gonna go next in. Next, I'm gonna put in the 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And we're gonna mix it in. And then we're gonna add in our salt, and it's just 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna add it right in. I'm gonna mix it up. You don't have to mix it any kind of way, just make sure it's mixed in decent. That looks pretty good. You're gonna need a paddle first. You don't wanna start with your dough hook first because it's not gonna mix well. So you're gonna need your paddle first. You're gonna add that in. And then you're gonna add in your sifted flour. So there is about 550 grams of sifted flour in here. You can do between 500, 600, so you kind of need to watch it, but what I've noticed is that 550 is like the perfect amount. And we're gonna add this in really slowly into our mixer. Let me actually grab a spoon real quick. And then you're just gonna turn it on to stir, and you're just gonna let it mix in really well. When you start seeing it form into more like a doughy consistency, you can start switching your little hook to the dough hook. This recipe is just so easy. It's literally so easy. Around the holiday, we made pierogies all the time. And then once my grandma got a little older, we stopped. I don't know why. I love blueberry pierogies with some sour cream. Oh, it's so delicious. So delicious. So this is, you can tell right here, it starts getting the doughy consistency. You can actually stop it. I'm just gonna scrape the sides a little bit, and then I'll add in the rest of my flour because it's starting to look really good. You just need it to start looking like a dough. And you'll know, once the dough stops sticking to the sides, that means it's good to go. You have to switch your hooks. All right, let's mix it a little bit more. This is where you need to switch over to your dough hook when the dough is very sticky right here and the flour is pretty incorporated. It's going to be pretty sticky right now. But what you want, the consistency that you want is you don't want it to stick. Like this right here, it's not ready. It's too sticky. So once you put your dough hook on from here, you're gonna want it to knead about 10 to 12 minutes, and it's gonna start coming off the walls. It's not gonna start sticking. It's gonna form into a ball almost. So let's run this for about 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. I feel like 10 minutes is a sweet spot, but sometimes you'll need that extra. So you're just gonna let it knead. Okay, our dough is ready. Look at this. It is a beautiful pierogi dough. It's soft. It's not sticking to the walls. We're gonna put it into some kind of bowl, and then we're gonna close it up, and we're gonna let it sit for about 15 minutes. And we're gonna cover it up. Make sure you cover it up. I'm just gonna cover up with plastic wrap. You can cover it up with a towel, whatever you like. And we're just gonna set it aside for 15 minutes, and then we'll get to rolling out our pierogies. Alrighty. It's been 15 minutes since our dough has been sitting, so we'll pull this beautiful dough out. Look at this. Right. So what you're gonna need to flour your surface first so the dough doesn't get stuck to the surface. So just grab like a little handful and flour your surface. Bam, that's good enough. And now you're gonna need a rolling pin. I'm gonna roll it out into like a disc. So if you feel like your dough is getting stuck or is moving around way too much, you can just flip it like this, and it should stay a little bit better. So you're gonna roll it out until it's like 1 inch, like a tiny little inch. You do not want a fat pierogi, a thick pierogi with a lot of dough. It's not good at all. You want it as thin as possible. And you better bring your arm strength for this one. Hold on, I gotta pull my hair back. My mom's gonna kill me. All right. I bet you my grandma's gonna be watching this video. Probably not, but she would be like, "You're doing this wrong." That's how I do it. It's how it is. New generation, new style. All right, I think I'm done. So next, what you're gonna need a cup, or if you have a round cookie cutter, you're gonna need a cup, and then you're gonna need some kind of platter to put your pierogies on. I just grabbed this, or you can keep it on your surface. I'm just gonna flour it so the pierogies don't get stuck to the surface. Get this going, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our cup. We're just gonna stamp it all around the dough. And then you're just gonna repeat the process over and over again. So this right here is a fat piece of dough. So don't worry, we're gonna actually roll it out just a little bit more and make it a little bit thinner. So then it's gonna be like about this thin. So you're gonna save these scraps because then you can roll them right back out and make more pierogies, but make sure you cover it up so it doesn't dry out. So let me just grab that bowl again. Just gonna close that up for a second, and then I'll bring it right back out. And we're just gonna have it we wanna make sure it doesn't dry out. Alrighty, so all of our stuff is all cut out. We tried cutting it out with like a pasta. It's like a little serving, little pasta thing. I wasn't a really big fan because I feel like they made them way too big, because I feel like once you roll these little ones out already, they're gonna be pretty fat. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab, let's just move these to the side a little bit so we can have a little room to roll these out, because these are way too thick. So you can either do it with your hands, you can pull them out like this. And this is where the fun part starts. We're gonna get our blueberries. We're gonna put about, let's say about like 5 blueberries. 3, 4, 5. And then you're gonna do half a teaspoon of sugar in there. And then you're just gonna pinch them together. There you go, look at this beautiful pierogi. And I'm not fancy. I don't know how to do those fancy little twisty thingies people do with the pierogies. Like something like that, I don't know. It's still gonna taste good if I'm not twisted or made it extra fancy. So then you just set it aside. Or you can use your rolling pin, which I feel like is a lot of work too. Like that, rolled out. Throw your 5 blueberries in there. See if I can count. Hopefully I can. And then you'll add that half a teaspoon of sugar in there. Or you can throw more, right? Just kind of, I guess you have to be careful with if the blueberries are way too big. Some of the blueberries are fat and some of them are small. So sometimes you can add like 6 in there if they're like tiny little blueberries. Just pinch them together. This. Nice and easy. And these are gonna be so yummy. I cannot wait. Pierogies are ready to be boiled, so let's get to it. I brought out this little spider to fish our pierogies out, and then a bowl for the cooked pierogies. And of course, my boiling water is ready to go. I'm gonna place a few pierogies in. It depends on what kind of pot you have, so we're just gonna go in slowly and just be careful. And your pierogies will float when they're ready, like really float, you'll see. Some of them have dropped to the bottom and then some of them did not. So you'll use your ones that are on the bottom to use as a gauge whenever the pierogies are ready to come out. So you're gonna have your burner on a medium heat and it's gonna be in there for about 7 minutes. You kinda need to watch them because once they start really floating to the top, they'll really float. This right here is not floating yet. It's floating obviously, but it's not like fully on top. Our first batch is done, so we're gonna pull them out. I'm gonna fish it out. Okay, I screwed up on some of them. Some of them are leaking. I feel like I didn't cover it. You can tell right here. This one, it's leaking. I didn't like push it down good enough, so you wanna like really push them down. And you're just gonna set them there. You're just gonna grab your sugar. I'm gonna grab the sugar. We're just gonna sprinkle it a little bit on this layer like this. The sugar dissolves on the pierogi and it just gets into the dough and just tastes so good. This was our last batch. We're just gonna put them right into our, and you wanna eat these fresh. You don't wanna have them sitting around. They don't taste good cold. So what we usually do if we make a lot of them, we'll first put them on our board and put them in the freezer and like let them freeze and then put them in bags because you don't want to freeze them in bags raw. Like you want them a little frozen. All right, we are all set. Just gonna close this off. Actually, I have a few more I need to drop in there. Here we have our beautiful batch of pierogies. Look at these beautiful things. I'm ready to eat it. I'm just gonna add a little bit more sugar because who doesn't like sugar? I have a plate and I have my Greek yogurt, and you can either have sour cream or Greek yogurt. I like Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna do Greek yogurt. I'm just gonna give myself 1 or 2. These beautiful things. And we're just gonna like, oh, look at those juicy pierogies. Yum, my gosh. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of home. It reminds me of my grandma. Oh my gosh. So yummy. So, so yummy. I'm just gonna finish this plate and then we'll talk later. Let me just finish. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys at our next video.